a learning perspective, I was at a very good public education elementary school, but I needed a lot of support. I struggled with reading primarily, and being pulled out of the classroom hurt my confidence and impacted my learning overall.
Definitely before benchmark, I have to go to the extra help room, which made me feel like the oddball in the classroom because everyone else was reading books and I felt very behind.
We started noticing in first grade and even in kindergarten, he always had a little slow development with the fine motor skills.
It started more like, oh, I don't like school. Just kind of started like that. And then it progressed to kicking and screaming and crying that I don't want to go to school.
My son was in the public school system and he was identified and did have an IEP starting in kindergarten. And I often say he had the Cadillac of IEPs. Anything that I asked for, he did receive. But he wasn't making progress, and it was more of the emotional piece that was of concern to me. He started having panic attacks. And he really didn't like school. And I think that was one of the hardest things for me, was seeing how hard school was for him and how uncomfortable he was in that space.
They came to me and they said, actually, Ben is a lovely child, but he puts his head on the table, he's not connecting, he seems to be smart, but not what's wrong.
We realized that Jeremy was really smart. He was funny, thoughtful, he listened well, but he was having trouble in school. I think it began to be clear to us that he needed a more sustained and intense intervention.
We were spending hours trying to reteach things during the evening, and nothing was working.
We enrolled Jeremy in Benchmark's summer program. That was a wonderful experience for us all to get our feet wet.
I remember one day my parents were like, you're gonna go to the summer camp and they're gonna help you. And so I remember going to the summer camp, and after that I loved the summer camp, and they're like, do you wanna go to school here? And I was like, yeah, I wanna go to school here.
I hadn't really heard of Benchmark. And the principal says, you need to look at Benchmark. So I called Benchmark and they're like, yeah, sure, you wanna come in? It was like next week. I was like, yes, please.
We decided to come to Benchmark, and I of course talked to Dr. Gaskins at that time, and she said, I think he needs an interview and please come. And it was very important to us because it was a blow. I mean, when we first got to first grade and he wasn't reading. And I knew he was smart. I knew, and he was feeling it too.
We began to feel like Benchmark would be the right place for Jeremy full-time during the school year.
And on the first day of school, he rounded the corner, holding his teacher's hand, and said, my teacher just gets it. I think that's what's so special about this place, is that the teachers do just get it.
We noticed a change immediately. He was happier when he came home from school earlier. He would do his homework without question, without struggle, without crying.
I want to say within the first month of her being here at Benchmark, she was reading, and she did not come in reading.
I was going from a Catholic school where I was faking reading along, just turning pages, acting as if I was reading, to a school where you might have 2 or 3 teachers in a classroom giving dedicated time to that individual.
Benchmark school was a miracle. They taught me what I take most out of my Benchmark experience is that I learned about myself as a learner and what I needed to do to be successful.
It was just like the first week after I came here, I was like wanting to read and wanting to do homework.
Jeremy came home and said, Mom, the head of school had a conversation with all of us this morning. And he said that Benchmark is a school for smart kids who just happen to learn differently. He said, did you know that I was smart? And his father and I both said, we did know that you were smart. We just knew that you needed to have teachers who taught in a way that meets your needs.
My son recently graduated and he is in a private school, and he feels really good about himself as a learner and a person, and he loves school.
Everything about Benchmark, the support structure from the academics to the student support team to his, the mentor program in middle school. I mean, everything is just so fantastic.
My dear husband says, for all the schools they've ever gone to, and they went on to very good schools, Benchmark was the best. And I say that in total honesty.
And if there is one thing that I can credit to where I am today, it's my family, of course, but it is Benchmark.